Are you a big man? Huh? I'm talking to you.
What?
You wake up in the morning, you say, I put on my big boy pants. Look, I'm wearing a belt. I got big boy pants on.
Oh, it's time to strap it in, strap it up, and get ready to go. It's time to put on the big boy pants. This is Tim with New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. We have our first preseason game tonight at 7 p.m. against the Detroit Lions in Detroit. You know, it's the first game of the preseason, so normally the starters don't get any reps. And you know, I guess rightfully so. I'm a guy that I've talked about it before. I'm an old school guy. I go back to the 70s where even in the 80s and the 90s, the first teamers always got at least 2 series in that first preseason game. But also there was 4 preseason games. And at some point in time, there were 5 preseason games. So you had your first team guys get some reps. But in the new day and age of the CBA and a kinder, gentler NFL, we don't do those types of things. So normally with this first preseason game, it's usually your second teamers and your third teamers. Your rookies are going to be coming in. Your guys that are vying for that roster spot, who you really want to see and get a better understanding, and have them play 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 quarters. And there's a bunch of guys on this roster who need some reps. A bunch of guys on this roster, even some rookies, that need to prove that they can either come into and step into the starting lineup, and more likely they're going to be playing against the second and third teamers against Detroit. So these are guys that need to show, and I've said this before, you need to show you're head and shoulders above everyone else. If you are a first-round pick and you're playing against undrafted free agents and late-round draft choices, you should be better than them. You should be ahead of them. You should be you should have that certain something that makes you stand out from all of them. And then there's just some guys in the roster that you're like, you know what, dude, we got to figure out what the hell you are. And the first person that always comes to mind for me is Matt from Connecticut. The big number 74. Former third-round pick. When is he going to be healthy? I mean, seriously. 4th season out of UConn. I said the moment he drafted it. I remember the draft video I did. And you can go back and watch it. I believe Gettleman. I think that was Gettleman's first draft. I can't remember which draft it was. What year it was. Oh, well, it tells you right there. I just said what it was. But when we drafted him, I said he's a project pick out of Connecticut. He may take 3 to 4 years before he even does anything in this league because he's slight of build. He doesn't have the strength. And as soon as he hit the gym, he started having back issues. I never saw the full potential and the full capability there. I believe that was a draft video where I said that Dave Gettleman, snatched defeat out of the jaws of victory. Because he had a good draft up to that point in time. He's a guy that's got to step up. 4 years. Come on, Matt from Connecticut. Hey, who's calling?
It's Matt from Connecticut.
It's just time. It's either time because you know what? We need to figure out the offensive line issues. We need to get the guard issues solidified. We need to make sure we had some backup tackles. I think we're going to be okay at the center position. But I do want to see the Jingleheimer Schmidt. He's probably going to play for at least 2. I would think he would play at least a quarter, if not 2. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Na.
John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
So let's get Big John in there for a little bit. He needs some reps getting the ball back to the quarterback. You're going to probably see Tyrod Taylor for maybe 2 or 3 series. And then we're going to bring in the venerable Tommy DeVito. But these are guys that, he's another guy that's going to need some reps. He's another guy that's going to be able to show that, he can handle guys that he will probably won't even be going up against that are probably going to be hopefully below his level. And I want to see him manhandle a couple people. I mean, it doesn't have to. I'm not looking at anything to be, I'm not looking for him to come in there and play patty cake. I want to see. We've said it before. I want to see him knock someone's dick in the dirt. That's what we used to say back in the day when I played. Go out there and knock his dick in the dirt. Never really understood that analogy. I never did. But I also want to see Eric Gray. Eric Gray, to me, is right now he's listed on the unofficial depth chart as the punt returner. I would probably put him on kickoffs as well. I'm curious to see if he does have that burst of speed to get through the line. If you watch him at college a little bit, yeah, he had some speed, but he kind of reminds me of Wandale Robinson. He got dragged down from behind on a certain number of plays in college. He also had a tendency in college, if you watch him, to run out of bounds and avoided contact. He's baby quads now. I always love when Giant fans asphyxiate on a body part of a player. because like that's going to make them special. That's going to make them stellar. That's like speed. Oh my God. Look at his speed. Oh, where'd he go? He was too fast. Yeah. Okay. You know what? There's been plenty of fast guys in the NFL that have done nothing. It's talent along with speed that makes you a venerable player. I also want to see Jalen Hyatt. I think Jalen Hyatt's going to need to get some reps. He's looked really good in camp. He's looked really good against the all shorts team. You know, his route running has looked crisp against no one. It's a little bit different. Anyone that's played the wide receiver position understands it's a little bit different when you get out there and you're going to get jammed on the line. Someone's going to have some physicality against you, what you're going to do and how you're going to move. I think Jalen Hyatt's going to have a good year. I don't think he's going to have a humongous year like some people think. I've said it before. If he has 35 receptions at like 17 yards of reception, maybe 4 touchdowns, I think that's a success. Because I don't know how
vertical
the Giant offense is going to be right now. I really don't. I think they may ground and pound it these first like 4, 5, 6 weeks of the season like they did last year and then slowly open up the playbook. But I like to see Jalen Hyatt get out there. I like to see Jalen Hyatt get some reps. I like to see what he can do, what he can accomplish. And he doesn't, like I said, he doesn't have to go out there and set the world on fire, but I'd like to see some crisp route running. I would like to see a couple catches. I'd like to see a couple shots deep. I think that'll work out well. You know, I was thinking of a guy that is kind of like, I think he's already on the bubble. And it's another wide receiver because of the fact that we have a plethora of wide receivers. And that's Colin Johnson. He missed last year's with the Achilles injury. I mean, the dude's like 6'6". He looked like he was going to come into his own and maybe be something for the Giants, you know, after the Achilles, you know, then he had the Achilles injury, but he's in a crowded wide receiver room. He is a guy that, you know, he's definitely a bubble guy. And I think he's a guy that we have to wait and see what he can be, if he can be anything. Because you're going to have a bunch of other players pushing. You know, I don't think the wide receiver room has a lack of talent. I think it has a lack of proven talent, and I don't mean proven talent in regards to just talent itself, but also because of injuries. And we have some players out there who, you know, are coming back from injuries, who have been injured throughout their career. So I think a guy like Colin Johnson is going to be important to get to know the offense and be able to work even with second or third teamers and potentially be a practice squad guy if he clears waivers, or if someone grabs him off the practice squad. But I think he's another guy that's going to have to step up a little bit and just see what he can, just kind of see what he can do and see what he can accomplish. We also want to say,
I love it. Where's Mr. Hawkins III?
That's my venerable Thurston Howell. Hawkins. We got to see the Hawk. Aga! We got to see the Hawk. We got to see Mr. Hawkins III, see what he can do. He has been the darling of camp. He has been the darling of Giant social media. And again, it's against the all shorts team. So let's get him some reps. Let's see what he can do game wise. I love people that judge a player by just training camp. And you could actually judge back in the 90s, somewhat in the 2000s, you could judge a player in training camp. Really could judge them because you had the pads on all the time. I talked about it before with John Gruden's practices. They always had the pads on. You had the morning session and you had the afternoon session. Then you had the film sessions at night, and then you had the different positional teams. Positional meetings. Can't talk today. So excited because we got some football. Then you had the positional meetings. Then you went back out in the morning again. But you always had the pads on. You were always hitting somebody. So you could tell, okay, this guy looks like he's a player. This guy looks like this. You get a lot of false hope when you just play against the all shorts teams and you barely ever put on the pads. And this isn't the player's fault. This is the CBA fault. CBA's fault, of course. Well, technically it is the player's fault because the CBA is for the players and it helps protect the players. But we've talked about it before. This is why I think training camp in the beginning is so important, especially these preseason games, because you only have 3 of them now. That you need to see what these guys have got. You need to get those game reps out of the way. So I'm hoping in the second week of the preseason when we play Carolina, you're gonna let your starters go into the second quarter. Because you need to see what they have. You got to start building continuity. You got to start getting some live game reps, some live action. That's why I think the NFL is so sloppy the first 3 weeks of the season. Then you have teams, like I said, we talked about it before, that don't play any of their first or second teamers. And I pointed out the Titans last year, the Chicago Bears a couple years back, where Chicago Bears started off horridly because they played no one. They played only third and fourth teamers. And then when they got into the season, they hit a losing streak. They still made the playoffs, but it was just a bad start to the season. And they looked like they didn't have any game reps. They looked like they didn't play against anybody. So, I mean, there's a bunch of guys. Like I said, you want to see a lot of the rookies get some snaps. So we got to see, like I said, we're going to see the venerable Tommy DeVito. Because I just love Tommy DeVito. I think we need to bring in another quarterback. I really do. I also like to see Gary Brightwell a little bit more. I would like to see, he offers a lot on special teams, but I like to see him run the ball more because you're probably going to carry Barkley, Breida, Gray, and you might have, I think James Robinson's going to be in the mix. Like, let's see what James can do. I'm curious about that, see if he gets any reps. Corbin I've always liked, but I think Corbin's going to be destined for the practice squad. I'm trying to think who else I kind of want to see today, and get an idea, get a feel for what they can do. I think Jordan Riley's another guy, the big defensive lineman. I like to see if he's what he's got. I liked Jordan Riley. I like to pick up a Jordan Riley. I'm just curious to see what he has as well. The linebacking core is another situation that I'm really looking forward to getting an idea. You want to see Beavers, you want to see McFadden a little bit. You want to see if Cam Brown and Carter Coughlin have anything. I'm curious about Troy Brown. And then you also go into the secondary. I mean, you got guys. Darnay Holmes has kind of been the forgotten giant in some regards. And he needs to make a statement to get on this roster because I think they're going to go Jackson, Banks, Flott. If Hawkins can play, they'll probably go with Hawkins. And then maybe Zion Gilbert. They may be. I think Aaron Robinson's going to be on the pup, I believe. Rodarius Williams, I think, is just a goner unless he starts playing well. Safety's another position I like to see. Nick McLeod, I like to see what he's got. I'd like to see Dane Belton play a little bit more because Dane Belton is interesting because of the fact that he played as a rookie. He got benched as a rookie because he missed multitudes of assignments. Then he kind of found his way back onto the field. He has the talent, but I'm wondering if he has the I think he just needs, not the skill set, but I think he just kind of needs to build some fluidity in the role and get some reps. You know what's funny? I don't think I probably am wrong, but I don't think Bobby McClain is making this team. The safety. I think he came in on a veteran minimum deal. Came over, of course, from Washington. And one reason I don't think he's making the team is he doesn't play special teams. He doesn't do anything. So he may be, if you go with Xavier McKinney and Jason Pincock, and then maybe McLeod and Belton, he could be the that fifth or sixth guy out. And especially, like I said, he doesn't play special teams well. He doesn't contribute. There's a lot of fun stuff we're going to watch today, guys. I might do a live stream. Haven't decided yet. People are already pinging me going, when is this game going to start, Tim? 7 p.m. Again, this is Tim. This is New York Giants Straight Talk. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell because you want to know why. Oh, that'd be awesome.